UNICEF said that the situation of Yemeni children has become miserable due to the war and other reasons, noting that the country has been witnessing war for more than 7 years. This has become a hell for children. This report has more details.
A combination of factors caused by conflict and economic decline, now aggravated by COVID-19, has exacerbated the dire situation for Yemen's children. Yemen is witnessing the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, with more than 21 million people in need of humanitarian assistance, including more than 11 million children. In a recent report by UNICEF, it stated that the situation of Yemeni children has become miserable due to the war and other reasons, noting that the country, which is in war for more than 7 years, has become an unbearable hell for children. As per UNICEF's latest report, at least 10,000 children have been killed or maimed since the conflict began, the equivalent of 4 children every day, and thousands more have been recruited into the fighting, with an estimated 1.7 million internally displaced children.
COVID-19 is a crisis in nearly every country, but imagine dealing with the pandemic in a country under conflict, where violence and instability are a daily reality, where food and water systems are barely functional, where peace is a distant dream. That's the world that millions of Yemeni children face each day. Over 12 million children need some kind of humanitarian assistance. 2 million are out of school. Millions more are on the brink of losing their spot in a classroom because teachers have not been paid salaries in years.
The destruction and closures of schools and hospitals have led to disruption of access to education and health services. There are more than 2 million children out of school, which makes them more vulnerable. UNICEF stated that Yemen is suffering from one of the worst food crises in the world, as it's expected that nearly 2.3 million children under the age of 5 will suffer from acute malnutrition in 2022. It predicted that 400,000 children would suffer from severe acute malnutrition, with the possibility of death if they did not receive urgent treatment.
Nearly 500,000 could die of severe acute malnutrition. Millions face the risk of cholera and diarrhea because their communities do not have water, sanitation, and hygiene, even soap, that they need. How can we fight this pandemic in a place where barely half of the health facilities are still functional, where people already suffer from low immunity or have never been immunized, where hand washing and physical distancing are nearly impossible?
Also, about 8.5 million children do not have access to safe drinking water, sanitation, or hygiene. In a statement, UNICEF described the war in Yemen as one of the most brutal armed conflicts in modern history, noting that 17 children have been killed since the beginning of this year. This number is nearly double the number in the whole of last December. To continue life-saving work until mid-2022, UNICEF urgently needs $235 million. Whenever the conflict in Yemen flares and violence escalates, children are the ones who pay the heaviest price. Families are being torn apart by horrific violence. Children cannot and must not continue to be the victims of this conflict.